Morning, team. Sorry, running a bit late, but as ever, Alex having technical issues here. Ninja Trader didn't want to open today for a good 20 minutes. Eventually opened, so I don't know if there's some data lag at the moment between Tradeovate and Ninja, whether it's to do with Apex and Ninja or what it is. No idea, but we got there. We got there in the end after 3 hard reboots and just waiting. Anyway, get into the chart, shall we? All right, main thing we're looking at. You would have seen yesterday, I was calling for that short. All right, we were calling for that short on the back test of where buyers were stuck on Friday. It took all day to come. The other thing I'd said on stream, and I said it in Discord, is there was no bid on the tape yesterday. You're going to think, what do you mean there's no bid on the tape if we're moving up? All that happened is the offer just kept lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting. And if you look underneath, if you used a heat map or a book map, anything like that, it was dark. All right, it wasn't packed full of buyers walking it up. There was no one at home at all yesterday on that drive up, which made it feel very, very unsafe to me, which is why I was saying very uncomfortable on the longs. Feel like they can do a big yank here when they're ready. We talked about it in Discord, and God, did they do that yank. They absolutely let it go, never looked back, straight slam down, 200 points, and we've continued fading overnight. Why does this make it hard? Well, the trade I wanted, clearly, was yesterday, was the sell up here. All right, we were looking for where those buyers from Friday were stuck. We sold, and now we rotate. So what happens now? We need to be very, very careful of these Thursday, Friday lows. Very careful in here, because this can still remain a range. All right, it can still remain a range. We have this gap Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have this gap to Wednesday here. If it wants to fill this gap to settlement, it can come down to 650. That's fine. It will need to fail Thursday, Friday lows to get down there. So maybe there's a back test to get down here, and then I want to be risk off a little. And if it wants to continue all the way down here, fantastic. Obviously amazing. That would be a huge fade though. Be very surprised if they do that today, but hey, you never know. Why we need to be careful is the easy trade was from here back down here inside range. This can set up a 4-day range here. If this wants to fail under here, find a bid, it can come back upside, and then we can keep doing this same dance. When will that dance end? Probably ends at FOMC. All right, if we build out range here, this is available. If they fail this range here, this is available. We've left a big old gap down here. This and this are available for FOMC. This will probably build liquidity and continue to build liquidity until FOMC. So the easy trade was this move down to here. We are bearish, absolutely bearish in the lower time frame, as in stuff below a daily, but above that, daily and above, we are still bullish. So let's have a look at the higher time frame. You're going to see. First thing I want to do is show you the TPO. Make sure I've got this set up right. Right, TPO, B shape. Yesterday was B shape, which meant all this volume here, no acceptance up here, and we open up underneath it, we're instantly bearish underneath basically 20,000. 20,000 remains a big over-under level. So we're looking for sells if possible. Again, want to be careful, because where we're trying to sell into is this level here, this guy here, and we're basically there right now. So want to be careful. If we get acceptance under this, we can move down to 670, and we're just going to keep back testing levels. 670, 620, 600, and down we go to 160. All right, somewhere in here, I wouldn't be surprised if we find a bid. All right, but if it really wants to let go and come down to here, it can. Hourly, you can see, let's just get rid of this little yellow guy. Hourly, you can see we left point of control yesterday all the way up here, basically 20,100, and rotated down. So now we know volume is stuck versus previous day low and up here, very much like Friday. Friday, they were stuck here. We roll over. Come back to where they're stuck, find sellers. We roll over. Now we know they're stuck up here. Do we need to back test this before coming down? Do we get acceptance back into range? Very possible. So how we react here at 742 is definitely key. I would say then this old pivot somewhere around 860s up to 900s and then 20,000. So ideally, I don't want to short the lows down here, do I? That momentum's great, location's not. So a back test of here, even better, a back test of here. If they find such strong sellers here, we rotate. Under here, they would need to come under and back test it for that rotation. If they come under and fail and hold this, then I expect there's probably a long opportunity. If they reclaim it after washing only, back up to 20,000-ish. Those are the things I'm looking at this morning. All right, that's what I'm looking at this morning. If you traded overnight or yesterday, I mean, you've just had the most beautiful trade. All right, this is where I was saying yesterday, back test 20,000, close the gap, 20,200, sorry. What did we say yesterday? 20,150 to 20,200. That was the area I wanted to get short on. Wasn't here, but there you go. Bang. You don't need to even trade this. You can wait for that. And down we go. All right. So all of these guys, that was artificial. That was absolute nonsense yesterday. You could feel it. We are into a big location here. So watching carefully to see how we open. Very aware that tomorrow is FOMC. Need to be very, very careful about that. VIX. All right. VIX gapped up as well. How long we got here? Not very long. VIX gapping up as well. Coming into some key levels in the top side of its range. So 25, let's just call it 25.25, top end of its range. Breakout of that, maybe VIX wants to go for 26.33s, maybe all the way up to 28 if we're going to have, you know, a major risk off day before FOMC. Who knows? Not me. I can just come up with thesis, but we have to wait and see what this does. QQQ and SPY, obviously, both gapping down, both have gap fill potential to the downside, right? There's an old gap. If you go into regular trading hours on your QQQ and SPY, you will see there is some old gaps if they want to start failing. So QQQ well into that gap right now, as is SPY. All right, so need to be aware of that. That gap took place between Wednesday and Thursday last week. All right, so just be aware of where you are. The cash gaps will be important. We came into the new week opening gap yesterday, found sellers were now trading into an older daily gap from last week. So these are all the levels I'm looking at. Nothing has changed from the last few days. Same thing. Just getting my drawing set up here. Don't think we have much news today. I think there is some, but it's very light. Let me just triple check that. Nothing. Nada. Just headline news. That's what I want to hear. Book map. Biggest order on the book right now, if you want to keep these down, I don't know if they're legit, is 19,845 upside. There's a seller still at 20,000. And there are some bids here at 19,775. Actually, some pretty decent size down here stacking up. So they're trying to protect those old lows that we talked about. I would like to see those get swept, and then I either want to see a back test of it and us stay heavy, or alternatively reclaim it and we can play that counter trend. Right, let's see who's in the tape and who's here this morning. Good morning, Clint, John, Miguel, Jesse, Logan, Thumper, Jeff, Abe, Callan, TR, Vince, Glenn, Christy, Caladin, Leron, Ramus, Mike, Marek, Don Trades, Richard, Brandon, Kat, JJ, Stephen, Gopher Hill, Aaron, Omar, Scott Sullivan, Willa Williams, Andrew H, Eva, Michael Pope, Aga, Tia, Peter, Array, JD, Florida Man, Steve C, Raphael, Juan Carlos, Willa Williams, Aaron Sharma, Andrus, Ken the Northlander, Gus, and Indicator. Good morning, everyone. TR, so volume trapped up high. Yeah, the last few days has been volume trapped up high. Absolutely. You saw it on Friday, which is why I wanted the short yesterday, which, you know, if I hung around long enough yesterday, it would have come. I think a few guys in Discord actually got it, which is great. But you just required some patience. You really did require patience. You just check where this anchor off yesterday's sellers, all the way up at 19,975. Okay, watching that, watching Globex levels as well. Just want to be careful if we start getting acceptance back inside Globex. mark this out here. You guys basically are effectively Globex. Decent range overnight. Want to be careful as we tap into demand here. So ideally looking for shorts. Would love a morning push up and a failure first before I think about anything else, rather than just trying to hammer in at the low of day where we have higher time frame demand based on that pivot structure that we put in Thursday last week. So I want to be very careful. If we start failing that pivot, back testing it, staying heavy, we can think about continuation. That's what I'm looking at, keeping it fairly simple here. Get my screens up here. Poor Alex has had so many tech issues the last few weeks. It's getting ridiculous. All right, 5 seconds to open, folks. Again, not looking to click a button at the open. Let's just see what we get here. There we go. So we're currently under the 5-day on the ES. Where are we at on that on the SPY? It's lost my moving averages on the reset. Fantastic. Sorry, folks. Give me a second. I'm going to have to get all these done. There we go. Trading under the 5-day there as well. And same for QQQ. Okay. All right, New York Open. Let's get this in. So slow start, as expected, opening up right in higher time frame demand. Let's have a quick look at the MAG. MAG all gapping down. Tesla 2.55, Nvidia 2.28, Meta 1.16, Google 1.61, Amazon 0.88, Microsoft 0.70, and Apple just going red to green now on the day. Remember, Apple was the weakest, one of the weaker ones yesterday. So we can watch those. Here's the morning drive up. Coming up to back test now into Globex. All right, back testing into Globex. Sure, I've got the right things on here. There we go. Thank you. Let's see how we go. VIX finding some sells up here in supply. So VIX opening up in supply. Rest of the market opening up near demand. Is the drift higher. This is what we want to see. We want to see a morning push and then some failure again. We want to be very careful in case we're just going to have acceptance back inside range. Maybe come and take some of this liquidity here. Let's wait and see. Maybe it wants to get going all the way to VWAP. And that's Globex being tested right here, right now. Interested if pops start to fail. I want to see the market like drive higher and then start to show some failures here. So testing Globex, are they going to drive higher through this? I want to see how we respond to flow zones here if we're going to pop higher. I would really like us to drive up towards 19,900, somewhere up there. But if we're just going to fail Globex, then we're going to think about getting involved. But I'd like us to move higher first. come and clean up some of this liquidity. Think about it. London and Asia, they're all net short overnight, and they've had it nice and easy, haven't they? Those New York traders, end of day, and London and Asia traders have had a nice, easy trade, very easy trade from their opening positions all the way down to higher time frame demand. If I was them, I'd be starting to cover here. So that will start to force market up. Can we go up a little bit, clean some of the stops out, encourage lots of buyers to come in, and then find some failure patterns to get involved in, to retest the lows? That's what I'd like to do. SPY back to view up here. QQQ also back to view up. Finding some sells here on the ETFs. I'd like it to go a little bit higher. Higher the better right now, because then we allow ourselves range for that retest of the low. And if it doesn't come, but we get some sells, it means that we can get some partials off. So the higher the better to look for those sells. If we start to get acceptance, up and above 19,900 though, I'm going to be very cautious thinking about anything to the sell side, because maybe then they want to go for a bigger move higher all the way back up to Globex highs. But right now, hopefully a little pops up and we find some sell patterns. Watching to see if the ES can get going back up towards 5,635-ish would be nice. Morning, Trentry. Okay, we've got seller on the tape, 19,845. Oh my gosh, come on, Bookmap. Wakey, wakey. There we go. It's one of those days. I can feel it. It's one of those days I could easily go on tilt today, given the come to the charts and they don't work. It's very easy for me to go tilty on days like this. Right, here we go. Up we go. Come on, further. I'm not in this long, folks, by the way. I'm just looking for this to drive up, clean out some liquidity, and then see if we start selling. We're watching ESV up. I'm watching ES 5-day moving average pivot. So 5,635 and 5,642 for us. Somewhere fairly similar. So reclaiming Globex here. Just doing that dance around Globex right now. Yes, have swept some liquidity. I would like this to move higher first, but if it doesn't, I will respect that and join in. But I really want to see this drive up. VIX coming down to a pivot. VIX can afford to trade down to 2430s, 2420s, currently at 2444s. Nice to see the tape looking a bit more normal again today after yesterday. I'll say that much. What an unusual tape we had yesterday. Market's still all red here, by the way, folks. They're trying to claw back some of the damage, but still currently red. Watching this H1 driving out. It's about to take out these H1 pivot highs at 50s. Maybe above that they start to sell. I don't know. There's another pivot up into 72. So let's just see how high they take this before sellers come back in. If they come back in, this is just my thesis. But we did do the move I wanted. The easiest move I wanted would have been that sell from 20,150 to 20,200 back down into where we opened up this morning. That would be the sell that I wanted yesterday. Starting to see some sellers come in here. I would still like one more drive higher. We are above the anchor view up off the New York Open. We are above flow zones right now. If we start to let go of that, maybe they do a deeper rotation. I'd really like one more squeeze out, though. Up you go, come on. Plenty of time here, folks. Only 8 minutes into the day. Only 69 points so far in the session. Let's see if they can expand this, create an opening range, and then see what we get. So momentum's been great downside, but we're expecting a bounce off the higher time frame demand level. How far can this bounce and squeeze up? How far can we hurt some of these traders? Maybe all the way up to 19,900. And then we can get a short, but just waiting to see if and when failures come in to this market. SPY now over the VWAP, QQQ over the VWAP, ES about to tap into the VWAP, NQ not too far away. So here's the squeeze that we talked about with acceptance inside of Globex. Now, how high does it want to go is the question. Now, where do sellers want to come in, if at all? Are we just going into a complete range rotational day? It is possible. We're starting to approach this sort of back test level up here. It's red box. Interested if sellers come in there. So good drive out. Here's VWAP on the ES. It's a solid drive out there from the market. And there is the slam at the lower time frame algo. So some sellers there so far. Again, still want this to go higher. Can't get through that lower time frame algo yet. ES rejecting VWAP. Please don't be it. Please don't be it. We want a bit more range. We want a bit more range if it will allow it. Oh my days. Right back to Globex. I want at least a big chunky 2-leg up before I think about it, just to give me as much range as possible to think about the short. ES came down. Sorry, VIX came down to the 30s. What did we say? 30s to 20s possible to find a bid down there. It's starting to try and find a bid. Come on, move higher for me. Lower time from momentum starting to go bullish here on an M1. It's what I want to see. But then I want them to get stuck. Right, so currently we're going to do the dance between future VWAPs and the cash VWAPs, ETF VWAPs. That's what it looks like right now. Stuck between SPY VWAP and ES VWAP. Stuck between QQQ VWAP and NQ VWAP. All right, so you've got future and cash traders sorting themselves out right now. Definitely finding a bit tricky at the VWAP on ES and at the lower time frame algo on the NQ right now. Market all red other than Apple. Apple has gone red to green. The rest of the market remaining heavy so far. Trying to claw back some of the damage, but still some sellers in control here in the market. Anchor off yesterday's high, by the way, all the way up at 19,958 currently, which would basically take us to previous day low and the higher time frame algo if it went for a back test all the way up there. Sellers still coming in here between these two VWAPs. Really want this to pop up higher. How long have we got left? 2 more minutes until that opening range is set. I'd love like a failed breakout of that opening range, just to push up and fail. I'm also trying not to be too convinced about it, just in case we're going to go into a range rotation day. Remember that H1 can absolutely do that. So can the daily. We can have a 4-day range up here. That will be lots of liquidity trapped then in a 4-day range. If we trap buyers up high and sellers down low and we come into FOMC, you best believe that they're going to abuse those traders. Come on, market. Get going upside for us so we can get a better short. ideal location is actually so much higher. Oh, I'd love it to backtest like 19,970s. It's asking a lot though right now, I think. Another 120 points. ES cannot get through its VWAP right now. Opening range about to be set. Go on, up you go. Up you go. Watching VIX here into 2450 is going to be key here. If it reclaims it to go upside, we'll get downside pressure on the market. If it can't reclaim it, if it keeps finding sells, it drifts into that gap, it's going to be a problem looking for those shorts. Still stuck at that lower time frame algo. Opening range about to be set in 10 seconds for a 15-minute orb for those of you playing. There's your orb now set. Back to flow zones we go. Still inside of Globex right now. So far failing to get an auction outside of Globex. We're inside Globex right now. We're inside Thursday, Friday's price action still. We're in a liquidity building zone. We're protecting high time frame demand. I would like a short, but I would like it to leg up first to give me the best possible location for a short. Like a squeeze out higher first. Those of you playing the opening range, you can obviously play this versus the opening range high. You can also play the expansion through the opening range high if you are long bias looking for that move, I don't know, to VWAP to 19,900, 19,950s, 970s. You can look at this opening range. So far rejecting it. Oh, there's the sell. And they've started. The games have started, folks. Someone got stuck there. Big volume candle there. Thanks, Coop. All right, so let's see. Are they going to start giving us some good action here now? Opening range high, protecting so far. Just want to see if there was any news there. I'm not seeing anything. Russia gas contract terminations are to be force majeure. That's all EU news. Not seeing anything else. Nothing's changed. Looking for shorts. Ideally for shorts higher though. If we're going to start to fail, that old demand level, I will get involved. Watching this low of that last wick we put in because they just protected that. So we know it's a big level. 19,800 is a big level. If they're going to start to fail under this, if we can build some liquidity for that bear flag, if we're going to rotate underneath the New York Open, if we're going to rotate underneath 19,750, I'm going to really look to get heavy into it. Starting to put some small pieces on here just in case. Watching this low here. Do they react to this low on this back test to stay heavy? 19,809. That 800 is going to be key, basically. That's the dance right now. You can see they're trying to protect this. You can see it in the candle versus that old low. If they stay heavy versus this, then whoever came in there as a buyer is going to get trapped. And they're probably going to have to get through the New York Open really to really get them get that downside move. So if pops start to fail here, I'm very, very interested. Buyers trying to step in, but they are not doing a very good job here. Look at the VIX. VIX protected those 2430s we talked about. Here goes the VIX. I really want to get some size on here. If we can pop up and fail into Globex, it would be ideal. Be very careful because we're near the higher time frame demand level. We're near the New York Open. We're near where we found buyers this morning. My bias is downside, but The location to get short here is not very good. We need dries up to start failing. Obviously, if we start to reclaim the opening range high, then thesis goes, and maybe they've trapped enough shorts in this last move down. But the VIX looks good. Going for that 2482. How we act here is going to be key for me. Into VWAP, into flow zones, into Globex. Market all red right now. Can we build out this bear flag here versus Globex lows like we talked about? Are they going to build this out here to do this? This level, and this level are targets and key. Any reclaim of this, then we don't like it. So far looking good though. Getting ready to take a partial here. Sized into that one a little bit more. Come on, just give me that little liquidity sweep of the low. Fantastic. Watching New York Open now. And I wouldn't mind holding a runner all day if we're going to get really weak underneath the 19,750 today. Come on, you got to give me more than this. I'm watching New York Open here. I'm going to get one off just in front of that, just in case. Here we go. There's New York Open. All right, looking good. Watching this opening range low now. 780s. Remember that blue box is higher time frame demand, folks. All right, this is higher time frame demand. You must respect it. So take a partial into it. If we start to get weak under it and we back test it, it becomes higher time frame supply. We look for more weakness. Looking good here. So far, remember, just respect that we're in a range. We're at the low end in higher time frame demand right now. We're in a range, in the opening range. We break out of that range, we can get more downside pressure. If this wants to play some games, it will play games, right? So just be smart. Looking good here. Looking really, really good here. No one on the tape that's scaring me right now. So next TP is this low of day, if we can get it. There we go. Lovely. Here we go into high time frame demand. Everything working out for us this morning. All right, looking for a fail of 750 now. Fail of 750 takes us down to 680 to 600. So you should have got some partials here now, just holding runners. In the money again, team. In the money. I was worried that it wasn't going to give it to me today after seeing the move I wanted yesterday happen last night. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Lovely, Peter. Yeah, lovely work, team. Into the bottom side of this blue box. Remember, higher time frame liquidity is right here. All right, that is the liquidity break. If they break it and stay heavy, we go leg down. If they break it and find some bids, we turn back inside. You can see it right here on the hourly. It's a big level. They've protected it before. If we break it, we're going to just start testing these other levels. We can always do a trap. You need to be taking a partial because the trap will look something like this. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right. Otherwise, we're looking for this. Love it. Look at all you guys. Love it, love it, love it. Peter, Tyson, Kaladin, Leron, all making money. Love it, team. Fantastic. We look great. Miguel making money on it. Paul making money on it. Omar making money on it. Nice and simple, isn't it? Let the fails come. Where did we fail? Lower time frame algo. Boom. He held us down. We got stuck under here. And then we take the short for this. Bang. Nice and easy. We don't guess the tops. We let the sellers come in, show us where they are, and we join. I would have loved a little squeeze out high. I'm going to be honest. What I really wanted is like a 1, 2 up into here and then this, because then I could have got size on a bit higher up in the range. But it's fine. We trade with what we get. Nice start to the day. We'll lock that 4 figures in. Looking good. Oh, lots of you got it. Love it, love it, love it. Just seeing this now. Coop with the W. John Dennis. Andrew H. Missed my fill by 2 points. Annoyed. Try and let it go, bud. There'll be another trade setting up. Try and let it go. Myron with the W. Brad with the W. Lindell. Steve C. My boy Razorback. Let's go, buddy. Andrus with some. Still holding some. Nice work. Jeff's runner still in. Yeah, me too. Crawford with the W. Peter, Christy, Array, JD, Florida Man, Reagan, Ken, Thumper, Trentry, missed it on Simulator, no worries. Oh, I just see that, Richard. Your first win on your new funded account on TPT. Lovely work. Well, that's a nice way to start, isn't it? Lovely way to start. So we're doing the damage here. We're right into the lower end of that range. You need to be careful here if they step back in. All right. So one thing I would say, you've got to be careful here if they step back in and protect these 50s. This is where the battle will be, these 50s. Really, we'd like a drive back up if we're going to think about putting any more size in. Or a complete failure of 50s, and then a back test of it. All right, so if we come under 50s with some like good momentum and then come back and test sort of 50 to 70, somewhere around that, then we can look for a return in short to get a continuation lower. But we know this is the bottom side of the range. We know this is higher time frame demand. It's why you have to have locked something in these moves. And not just sit in this and hope, all right? Because they don't have to do a thing. If they don't want to sell this anymore today, they don't have to. That was the low-hanging fruit, been and gone. VIX looking good. 25.10s, looking for VIX to break out of 25.20s. Might as well call it 25.25s because I think it's 25.22. So if VIX can break out of 25.25-ish, we can go leg up on the VIX. We can go leg down in the market. Yeah, Adam, I can explain the entry. Just let me manage this trade for a minute and we'll go over it. But it was just this bear flag here. We were looking for sells. The momentum was big. Got stuck at lower time frame algo, VWAP. There's the sellers coming in. There's the kill candle. There's the momentum being built out for the bear flag versus New York VWAP versus flow zones versus Globex. I kept saying if we get stuck at Globex, we're getting short down to here. And now continuation would be this. Failure under here will be this all the way back up. Remember, this is higher time frame demand. We've done the low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit was 50s. We took it. All right? We just took low-hanging fruit. So the easiest trade on the day has probably just happened. We got it. Here's the back test of the opening range. Might go up to the orb here as well. I want to be careful here if they keep finding buyers. But if they're going to sell this versus these levels, this is where we can potentially go leg down. But the market will need to make its mind up here, whether it's going to stay in a range for tomorrow. Remember, look at the daily chart. Think about where we are. Is it going to stay in a range or is it going to go for that old gap fill? What was it? Wednesday to Thursday gap fill. And we've got NFP tomorrow. It will have to make some decisions here, this market. Here's the old opening range, 780s, the old low of day, the New York opening low of day on that first orb. So here and New York open will be key. If they come in and sell this, then potentially get that break of 747s, we go leg down. If they don't, then we just go back into the range and we're going to go in a range rotation day. How do I see the sellers coming in? It's a mixture of watching the tape where I can see them refreshing. So I could see sellers just refreshing here and here and here. Every drive up, they just put more size on, put more size on. And then this candle here is the key. Like that's the big sell and we never reclaim it. And that's why we join after this candle here. All right, they might be doing this move. Let's see. Are they going to go two leg up to sell or are we just going to go for bear flag again? So I'm looking to see how we act in and around here right now. If we go all the way up here, it's probably a bit too deep. So I'm watching to see if they do something like this or is this just going to go back into range? Those are the questions in my mind right now. I'd love to see a continuation short today. But I wonder if they save it knowing that we've got FOMC tomorrow. Do they just want to create a ranging market for tomorrow? So far, we are stuck at that opening range, 780. Your orb, anyone playing an orb is playing against this right now. So acceptance back into that, back inside range. No news today, I don't think, Raphael, as far as I know. Maybe I've got that wrong, but I don't think there's any news today. Tuesday, I've got nothing. All eyes are on tomorrow, really. All right, so either bear flag or they catch this now. They're going to have to make a decision on what they're doing. Here we go. Are you going to let this go now, fall that leg down? So watching to see here. If we get that bear flag for continuation, I'm still in this. Just wanted to see if we can get a continuation here. Haven't sized in any more yet. Very, very tight here. I know they can catch this versus sort of 58.60s if they want. All right, if they're going to do a high-low. So I want to see confirmation under 750s. Looking at the book. My book map is... Man. I have to reboot my book map. All right, this is a bit better. Can we get break of structure here for leg down? 750s key. 750 tapping there. Can we get break of structure for leg down? Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right. Peeling a tiny piece off there. I want to see if we can get into 680s now. I want to see if we can get down into 680s. Next block. This is a gap. All right. We're in an old gap here. Look at the QQQ and the SPY trading into an old gap. Can we go gap down? Come and fill some of the imbalance. So really nice rejection of your orb. Flow zone staying heavy. Buyers tried, failed. So peel some off here and then see if we can get some more downside. If not, any break now back inside that opening range, there's no shorts for me at all now. We've done so much damage here overnight and this morning. Any break back above that opening range 780, I'm out. Nice early day with some money in the pocket. Low-hanging fruit's gone. All right, remember that? Low-hanging fruit's gone. We take out this pivot high. I'm out on my runner, my last one. There we go, out there on my little guy, but locked in some good money on that trade. Yeah, beautiful. Locked in some great money on that. All right, so we keep moving on now. So now we wait. Momentum is still downside, but you have to be aware now. Think about the H1. Think about the high time frame. What damage have we just done? Move this. All right, if we get stuck, technically if we get stuck here, it can build this out on an hourly. But the easy trade was to take this guy out, which we've done. So if we start doing this, you want to be very, very careful. All right, so I wouldn't be adding short into this right now, for example, because we had 2 attempts there. All right, we had 1, 2. They've pivoted over this. They have the ability to go back inside range now. They're already back inside range. We just swept outside range. We're going back into range. You can also see it on the daily. All right, we went over this right at the beginning of the day. Wednesday, Thursday low. Grey box is the gap. We traded into the gap. If we get acceptance back above this, we can just come back into here. We can build this out. And then what that does is have everyone trapped in here for FOMC, like we talked about. This and this become achievable for FOMC very easily because you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 days worth of liquidity trapped inside. Understanding inside bars, understanding ranging bars will really help you. Right, will help you in the market. So yes, SPY trading back upside right now. Yeah, Myrek, potentially, yeah. I mean, it swept here and it swept here, so it's a double sweep of a higher time frame. Maybe if it does this, but just remember your higher time frame momentum is absolutely downside, but you're at the bottom of a range now. The low hanging fruit for the short side's gone, so we just wait now. I'm definitely not playing this long, but I'm not looking for a short right here, right now. They still have the ability to reject some of this. This can be a deep pullback and go lower if it wants, and we can wait and join as and when, you know, if too many buyers come in. If we get acceptance back above here, that's a whole different ball game for me. And then I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm interested in a long back upside to come and take out these guys and these guys and these guys and these guys. Right now, I'm not going to do anything. We've had a really nice, easy trade this morning. Right now, I'm just going to sit back and let the market now build out more liquidity that we can use. Tyson, what feels great is the target for my runner was 690 before you said it could go to 680. Hey, beautiful. Yeah, so you're seeing it clear, mate. That's all that matters. You're seeing the levels. Then you can trade to and from their levels. Then you've just got to be patient. A big part of me was like, did I lack patience yesterday when I reviewed it? And I said 150 to 200 was the level. This was the level where I wanted to get short yesterday. That was the ideal short location. Why? Same thing. Where were buyers trapped? 150 all the way up here. I didn't think it would revisit that. All right, so 150 to gap fill. This is where buyers were stuck above that. So I expected when we came back up to them, they would become sellers. Now, I didn't stick around to get that, but it was the same thesis, right? We drive higher, all the bulls chasing, oh, we're going to go breakout. No, we're not. See you later. Momentum's downside. Same thesis. So I just needed to wait for that level yesterday. I was not patient enough to sit around all day. Should have, because absolutely saw it clearly. All right, getting stuck at the New York view up here. We're trading right inside the range. Let's think about a fib on the New York session right now. Swing high, swing low. Not too far away from golden zone, trading 50% of today's range. SPY stuck at view up. ES not at its view up yet. QQQ not at its view up yet. We are at the New York view up right now. Top range view up. Remember, this is New York view up. This is the futures view up all the way up here. If they build out, you know, if they build out here, this would be really nice. If they build out this, because then they trap lots of balls in here for that next move down. We can just let it build out. No need to rush into it. Remember, our job is to make some money and then leave. Low-hanging fruit, leave. If your job is one good trade a day and you've just had the low-hanging fruit, get off the stream. Or stay with me on the stream, but shut your charts down or trade paper or whatever you want to do. But if you've just made easy money, do not be sitting here trying to click and click and click. You just got given, I'd say today, you got given like Jack. It wasn't ace, it was like a Jack. But it was a good pot and you knew the person next to you was bluffing. So you made some pretty good money. You took that pot away from them with a Jack and you were like, thank you very much. Don't be now trading with like a 3-4 or something. Back to view up we go. Seeing if they're adding liquidity up higher here. Yeah, definitely no shorts right now, Tyson. This can trade upside, squeeze out all the late shorts who didn't understand that you had to take money into these levels. So you would have got breakout shorts chasing this. Remember, we didn't take that there. We were up here and up here covering into this. Breakout shorts come into the market, breakout shorts are the people that get trapped and cause this move back up. If we start basing here, a bigger squeeze can happen. Think about this liquidity from this morning. If we start basing here, up above, oh, bigger squeeze can happen. And we've got liquidity it can aim for now. We're back inside Globex. Think about the pivots in Globex. Shorts, shorts, shorts. Here and here, PDL. All of these things possible if they're going to really put a squeeze on and they've just caught everyone, because we can still stay in that 4-day balance range. This is Globex low again here. So this was a big level earlier. If we get acceptance up and above this and we base around here, okay, and then get through this, this will be this move here. Keeps doing that. Sorry about that, folks. Don't know why it keeps doing that. It gets locked onto the mouse. Oh, I'm on the wrong stream. I'm sorry, folks. Okay, let's go again. Breakout shorts came in here. That's why we don't trade breakouts, especially at ranges. If they reclaim this up here, we don't have to take this. We can wait. If they start reclaiming these levels, we can go upside. And if you look left, there are people that they can come and take out. Momentum is still downside right now. They can still reject this and come back down. This is still Globex low. It's still a big level. But reclaiming that and building liquidity, where can it aim for? Well, we've got pivots, 860, 875, 900, all the way up into PDL, 966, 965. All right, so it has the ability to do it if it wants. Remember, that will just be, just zoom out for a second. Well, that will just be inside, won't it? Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. What's the pivot? This to this. This low created this high. This can be internal range. All of this can be bollocks, all right? Just trapping people. Outside of this is the true move. This is liquidity building. What's it building liquidity for? FOMC. It is going to abuse. Everyone in here is going to get wrecks in FOMC. I promise you. Because even if it goes upside, it's going to do that. Even if it goes downside, it's going to do that. You know what FOMC is like. Anyone who's been around long enough knows it's built to wreck traders who are sat in positions. All right, Globex here, getting tapped into. ES trying to chunder its way, trundle up to view up. It's attempting to get up there. Still rejecting Globex so far. Liquidity on the book starting to thin out again. Hope it doesn't become like yesterday. I really hope it doesn't become like yesterday. Yesterday got very thin when they walked it up. It's very small. Oh, we can do... There we go. Hopefully that's a bit better. It shouldn't be too different from before in terms of actual size. Okay, reclaiming Globex now. Above the New York VWAP. Probably going to trade into the top side of this now. 19860s is the overnight, or the ES, the futures VWAP. 19864 is the opening range high. Break out of that, we go upside. Failure inside of that, or a failed breakout above that, and we go back down into the range again. Yeah, Phenom, exactly. There's lots of stops up there to aim for if they want to do it. It just really depends if they want to do it. See how VIX got stuck at 25.11. We said it needs to break out 25.22s. We just call it 25.25. A breakout of that would have meant this market would take a bit of a nosedive, and it didn't. It failed 25.11s, now back down at 24.50s. Like I said, just let this market do what it wants to do. Flow zone starting to go bullish here on the 1 minute. You're still bearish on 5 minute and above. Do not need to force your way in. Like I said, we had the easy trade today. We had a layup trade. That's all you can ask for. One layup trade. That's it. That's all you need each day to make money. Get used to taking the layup when it's there in front of you with really good odds that it's going to play out. You take that trade and you lock in, and then you leave the market until it gives you another one of those trades. You do not need to sit here all day and trade and trade and trade and trade and trade. That's not good trading, because the market will probably present a few good, like really good opportunities a day. Probably it's unlikely it presents more than that unless we're in a huge trending market. All right, ES2 VWAP and to the lower time frame algorithm. NQ not quite there yet. It's got a bit further to go, but we are above Globex. If it starts building out here, it can build that inverse right shoulder we talked about. I'm not looking to take this long. I will absolutely, if I'm going to take this long, it's really got to prove to me, because there's just as much chance they fail up here, in my opinion. So I'm not looking to pull the trigger long on this, especially up in front of the opening range high. I'd rather it break out and really show momentum. And H1 just traded right up to point of control. We're finding some rejection there. Initial balance is going to be set in around 15 minutes here, folks. So if we pop through point of control, which is currently around 835, if we get through that and we trade up to that old H1 high, 866, I think we can backtest 870s up to 911s. And then I don't think it will be able to do much more than that unless we get a change of narrative. I did not take it, but would have that been a good trade when we'd taken the long and broke deep pullback for the flow zone? No, I did not trade it. Would it have been a good trade to have taken a long when it broke the deep pullback flow zone? Oh, up here, I think that's a bit of a chase. I think it's better off to let it build out now. There's the pivot above. All right, so this is where shorts got trapped. That's your long from a technical standpoint, but the location's not ideal. Now you want to let it build out and start to do one of these if you're convinced in looking for a long. I don't love the long right now. I know we've had a failure to break out underneath this, but I want to see how we act at the opening range high before I think about anything else, because I know we're not too far away from supply. So this is the thing: is it just going to look to take this and come back down? I don't know. So I'd rather just wait. I've made really good money in that opening trade for me personally, so I'm not looking to smash my hotkeys here. It looks good though. It looks good to come and take out those highs right now up here. You would expect them to take it. You would expect them to take out those opening range highs into VWAP and the lower time frame algo. You would expect them really to come and clear it out. But whether it does it or not is another thing, isn't it? Market's still all red here. Nothing's gone green yet. VIX trading near low of day, but not at it. 2440s. Here goes lower time frame algo and VWAP test. Here's the opening range break. Okay, popped the opening range, swept all that liquidity. So if you were long, you should be taking partials into that move, because there's no guarantee now that it wants to hold this break. It can trade right back down, back towards low of day if it really wants to. There's zero guarantee it needs to hold this break to go back higher. Apple now going green on the day. This is the question. Can it find a bid to bid up all those stops higher? Or, you know, are we just doing liquidity sweep to liquidity sweep? We did just sweep a ton of liquidity up there. The opening range up there was, what did we say, 64s. ES did the same move. So I guess the question now is, do we find bids in front of the VWAPs on the ES? QQQ tapping lower time frame algo, SPY tapping lower time frame algo as well. You need to get acceptance up and above that. You need to see this sort of right shoulder build out here. It's sort of done a bit of a quasi for that first move, but can it get continuation? There's your quasi. Can it get continuation? Remember, we've got supply up here. Next level will be up to 875s and then 900s. If we can print above this opening range high, I feel better. If we're going to start basing out up here, I feel better about joining. I know it's later, but I just feel better because the momentum's in my favor then, if they're going to really prove to me. Maybe do we want to go back to the 5-day on the ES? Be nice. I don't see any sellers reloading here. Don't see why we're getting stuck so much. There we go. There's the drift higher. All right. So bulls taking control in this New York session now versus the opening range higher. Next stop, 1900, 908.75. Here's the squeeze. Shorts well and truly cooked now. Yeah, that right shoulder was nice. I'm long from here right now. I'm long from the opening range break. This was probably, that was a better trade, but I just wanted to make sure they were going to do it. Okay, so should be taking some partials here into this red box. Remember, the red box is supply. We know we failed from here. If we get through this, we're going to go through 19, this high here, 1909, might as well call it 1910. So, and then through that, you've probably got, you know, that 1910's, 910's big, then 927s, and then 974s. Remember, sells are the main play since yesterday afternoon. So if sellers want to come back in, the question is, what location do they come back in? So you must be cautious in managing your trade long right now. We're on a range rotation trade. I'd say the max they take it up to today would probably be that 20,000 over under level. So if you manage to hold it all the way to there, fantastic. Beautiful. This is already nice now. 20 points. Can we get any more juice out of this? ES approaching that 5-day. SPY approaching the 5-day. QQQ approaching the 5-day, as is the NQ. 5-day on the NQ right now. I mean, as of overnight, it was at 908. If we get through at 932. Lovely work, folks. Yeah, some of you probably took the better trade. That right shoulder, the quasi. I took that opening range break once it proved itself to me. Just wanted to make sure we were going to stay up there, not just sweep and come back down. VIX gapping down there. There's a bit of a volume imbalance. Just got flushed out there. 24.19s now. Well into its gap. Looking good here, team. We're looking good. Oh, Quabs, was I in a trade? Not down here. Like I said, I made it clear. I'm gonna take it once we get up here. I wanted to make sure we got through that opening range high. Now I'm in an orb trade. Really, final target would be back up here, but I've already locked some in this move because I don't know if and when sellers are going to come in. So we've already started to take liquidity. Up here would be the next spot, 1906, and then see if we can get all the way up here. All right, so this failure to stay heavy versus this is what trapped the shorts. They came in, remember, 90% of traders in the market are breakout traders. That means they triggered their breakout short here on a daily level, on a 4-day range, and they got what? Stuck. Once we pivoted above there, like I said, no shorts. Once we pivot above, that was my stop, and that was the trigger to go back upside. Keeps going here, looking very good. This is aggressive now. You can peel some off into this whole number if you want 900. So I'm looking for one into this. Ooh, do I get filled there? Hey, filled there now. Beautiful. All right, runners only now. As we approach this, I've got a VWAP from yesterday's high here, folks. All right, it's not on this screen, but I've got a VWAP from yesterday's high here at 19,925. Just be aware of that. That's the average price of sellers from that failure we had yesterday. It's a big level. 5-day moving average now tagged on the SPY and the ES. QQQ got a bit further to go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Finding some sellers here in front of that anchored VWAP. I can put it on here so you can see it. Friday sell. Sorry, Friday, Monday sell. Bang. All right. Here it says 23. What have I got it at? Yeah, pretty good. All right, pretty much the same. All right, this is anchored VWAP off yesterday's high. Let's get that in the red. And that's average price of sellers from yesterday. Just be aware of that. So unsurprising that we're finding a bit of a road bump here. If you look at the 5-day, we've got that as well. So if we get through these levels, we're going previous day low for a back test. Tyson, I'm kind of done for the day. Haven't activated my new PAs yet. Just reading the tape yet. Be done, man. If you've had 1 or 2 good trades, it's fine to be done. Get in that good habit. Amazon now going green. Apple not too far away. Tesla still 1.80% down. Nvidia 0.80% down. Meta 0.80% down. Google 0.25% down. Microsoft 0.38% down. Apple 0.13% down. Amazon, the strong one, 0.25% up right now. We are finding a little bit of a road bump up here. All right, like we said, this was a pivot. You can see it here. Support became resistance, and we've got this here. So they might want to sell this. We get acceptance above here. We go here. We go previous day low and point of control from Thursday. Those are the levels. If it wants to trade all the way up to 20,030, that would be a back test over the 20K, but it'd be a back test of yesterday's value area low. It's also possible. If it really wants to get going, the market's going to have to change major sentiment to get up there, but it's possible. Man, is there a day where Besant doesn't talk? Just wondering. Just wondering. Okay, finding some sells up here. Our question is, do we hold that opening range and VWAP and flow zones now back towards 60? All right, they're going to need to hold those if we're going to look for a continuation back up towards that 20,000 level. If they don't hold those, basically what we're saying is those sellers from yesterday are still in control and we get a failed auction above the initial balance. So above the initial balance, above the opening range. Just watching here closely, that 5-day moving average definitely holding up, as is that anchor. We haven't quite got into the anchor, but there or thereabouts. I'd expect this to have one more drive out, really, but let's see. Good H1 bar, this. Nice, big, juicy H1 bar. Go on then, up you go. I really think this needs to come back down to back test, but if it's caught enough, maybe it can keep squeezing. I want to see how it acts into flow zones, into the opening range high, into the VWAP here. into the lower time frame algo. I want to see if they find bids there, if they do a little 2-leg down, a little inverse head and shoulder down. If we do something like this, sort of a 1, 2, and then they catch it, then maybe we get the juice to get to here and here. If we get fails under here, I'm not interested in longs at that point. Now you could argue it's a bigger pullback is available. Where's my fib gone? Yeah, okay. So if you're still in this longs, you look good. You should not be attacking this short right now. You can see the momentum shifting upside. We're driving higher with shorts now stuck at the lows. So you shouldn't, no reason to be thinking about short. To think about short, you will need a failure. All right, you will need something like this. Right now, you're not seeing that. You're just seeing a rotational long off higher time frame demand after sweeping it. This was the sweep. This was the trap here. Boom. Breakout sellers came in. We get above that. This is long continuation now until it proves otherwise. So expanding higher here. Initial balance now set. Those higher of days are the IB now. Do we get through that? Do we find a bid through that now? Here's your IB. Tapping into the 5-day moving average on the SPY and the ES. QQQ's not there yet. I think if we get through this and that anchored VWAP, then we go previous day low. If we can't get through it, that rotation is possible. You want to be careful if they fail to make a new high here. If you're in this long, you want to be careful if they fail to make a new high here. And still be in an initial balance rotation day. We're still in an inside day. All right, we're in a 4-day range here. Nothing other than that. Apple now green, just about. Let's see if they can hold it. Rest of the market not really joining in. I'd say you've had two fairly easy trades now. Waiting for that 860 pullback. Yeah, I was waiting to see. I mean, it might still come. I was waiting for the same thing. It's a pretty good drive off that low. 100 odd points. It must have got to be more than that. 190 points off that low. It's a good drive. 170 points. Sorry, my math's off. All right, maybe now it comes back down to that level and we see if there are buyers there. I need the bathroom, but I want to wait to see what we do here. Always the way, isn't it? Stuck at that 5-day moving average on the SPY and the ES. I want to see that little drop down lower, encourage shorts to come in and then see if they absorb it. If they don't absorb it, then I don't know. Just basing out near the highs here. Just trying to build that flag to go. That IB high is going to be key. If we break that, there's got 3 highs up there now on an M1. If we break that 910, you probably get a decent stop run. Just like it to come back down first. Just building out a range up here now. Not looking very pretty. I want to see like a little spring set. So I want that move down for that inverse head first, really. Because if we drive out, we're leaving ourselves susceptible to a head and shoulders rather than inverse head and shoulders. Buyers on the tape here in front of 75. Bigger lot, though, is down at 820s. That's pretty deep, isn't it? Oh, he's at the VWAP. I see him. All right, so they're trying for that break. They're going for that initial balance break here. That's what they're attempting to look at. And you got to watch that anchored VWAP. 1, 2, 3, 4 highs up here now. They're protecting that sort of 9, 10 level. ES did just get through the IB. It's not based above it, but it did get through it there. It's trying to get going here, ES, for a back-tested previous day low. If we get this break of the initial balance high, we should get a decent stop run. There you go. Bang. All right, there's a decent stop run. Moving my stop up. I want to see us really protect those highs now, ideally. Because what I need to be careful of is it building a head. Beautiful. Can we get up into anchored VWAP of 23s? Fantastic. What a lovely stop run. So you can see it here, building out that flag. We would have preferred a little drop down into here before we done it, but that's the stop run. There's the anchored VWAP, which we're finding a sell-off, right? This is a big level here. This is average price of sellers off yesterday's high. It's why we rejected it. Right there to the dot. You can see the power of anchored VWAPs. If you've never used them before, there is a video for free on my YouTube. It's worth checking out. We get through that now. We're going to go previous day low if we can get through that. Now is a good time that I can use the bathroom. I will be right back. All right. Finding some sellers there at that anchored VWAP then. Still doing that initial balance dance. Please make sure you've paid yourself, by the way, if I haven't said that. You've got to be paying yourselves in these moves. All right, we're in a range rotation. Look at the daily. You are just in range rotation. You should be in sort of a see money, take money type mentality right now. You do not want to be buying high. You do not want to be selling low. You need to be in see money, take money. When there's easy profit there, when it hits key levels, you need to be taking some profit. There's a high time frame still in a sell. Not the daily, but like an hourly. If you look at the hourly, if we just go over, right, this is a big sell. This can still do this if it wants. It would need to break out of this. And there's your quasi. There's failures. So from, if we go from that swing, let's have a little think. From this swing down. Yeah, maybe we can do 50%, but we're into bear flag type territory right now. Higher the better though, but you just want to be careful. So higher time frame sellers might come in at some point around here. So definitely be in a see money, take money headspace. How many of you made money with me this morning? Hopefully lots of you made money, either on the short or the long side. Also, good example of why, like yesterday was a pain in the butt, and it's why you size down and you wait for that scenario to come. Unless you took that short of end of day or overnight, you probably didn't get much yesterday. And as long as you didn't get chopped up and give money back to the market, meant you come to the market today, and today we make money. Yeah, so Paul, all you guys making money. Paul, Andres, Stephen, Leron, Crawford, Peter, John, Brad, Tyson, Kaladin. Go for Hill. Hey, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you missed one. You got the other. Scott Sullivan, there you go. As long as you didn't exhaust yourself yesterday. I was definitely getting frustrated yesterday. I really wanted that short. It wouldn't come for me. And when I came back to the charts at the end of the day, I was not a happy man. I watched it for a little bit and I was like, this is going to puke, but it's going to be hard for me to get it. And then they did it without me. And then I got annoyed. Nice, Fido. Good control there. So you went early long, got stopped out, but then made 2R on the second long. That's all that matters. Your winners got to be bigger than your losers. All right, we keep getting stuck at the initial balance here. We're still making higher highs, higher lows on a lower time frame. That IB is absolutely key. ES getting a bit more stuck than NQ right now. NQ looks like it wants to drive back through this initial balance and go back for that previous day low. Market's still red. Amazon, the only one up. Right, rest of the market is red. Microsoft trying to claw back. Relative weakness versus the IB in the ES. See if it gets going here. Back above the IB now on the NQ. Still beneath that anchored view up. These are big, big levels here, folks. Remember, this is not your nice buying continuation, right? This is dangerous. Buying continuation builds out like this. This is not really doing that right now. In a tight channel, if they want to wash, they will wash. I think they want to get up here. I think that's where they're trying to get right now. Back test PDL. I think they're trying to move to here. They'd be better off doing this to get there if they're going to do it, but if they've got enough shorts trapped, they won't need to drop it any further down to do that move. Ay, ay, ay. So just waiting now. Had two lovely trades today on stream. If you joined me, you should have locked in some nice winners. You're either in a run and out or you're flat and just waiting for the next position. At least 100 of you watching right now have not hit that like button. Do me a favor, smash that like button for me. Right, looking like it's possible they might want to sweep these lot out before thinking about going higher. That opening range and VWAP still going to be key. ES relative weakness here versus the initial balance today. Getting stuck at that 5-day. And it can afford a pullback to structure on the ES. On the SPY down to 559.60s. And if NQ is going to follow, that would be that back test of the opening range break. Remember, we've built out lots of liquidity here going straight up at an angle. If they trap too many bulls up here and they need to wash them out to pick up more stops to go higher, then they'll drop it first. If they've got enough shorts cooked, they're just going to keep sending it. Yesterday, they had enough shorts cooked all day, and they just kept lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting. VIX trying to get back into that volume imbalance from that gap down it had. 24.30 now. Reclaim 24.30, it goes to backtest PDH, I think. Failing anywhere up and around here, it can build out a bear flag to go back down to PDC. So watching the VIX carefully here for a bit of confluence. Out of interest. All right, just stick to deep pullbacks. So average price of buyers off the low is here. Average price of sellers off the high is here from yesterday. So you got view up, view up, view up, view up. This is the dance that they need to do to decide what's next. Yeah, Raphael, yeah, it'd be nice. It will need to hold that kind of range if it does a pullback to there. If it fails that range, I would not be interested in a bullish move. Right, if it starts failing this, we'll use the liquidity in another way. If it pulls back and holds this, then this is possible. So waiting to see how we act down here. If we get there, it might not get there. I'm going to get rid of this now because we've chomped through it enough. Ay. Let's see. Give us something. You got to give us something. It's given us 2 trades. It doesn't have to give us anything. Maybe I can just sit here for another hour and 15 and chill. It's the other side of it. All right, back towards that anchored view up. Is ES going to get going through the 5-day and initial balance? Big levels here on the ES. Morning, Jay Nash. Thanks for joining. If you're just joining now, appreciate all the new followers here. Thanks for joining. All right, here we go. Anchor view up. Do we get through this anchor now and push up to that previous day low? That's the question. ES having a go at initial balance high. This is a straight up squeeze. Shorts are caught here. Amazon green. Everything else still red. Microsoft trying to get green. Rest of the market not really participating here. Can we get up to previous day low is the question. Getting stuck at that anchored view up still so far. These are big levels, remember. This is average price of sellers from yesterday. These are not small levels. We have not really swept any of this liquidity we've built out for the last, I don't know, hour, 2 hours or so. Not hour. When was this? Pivot. 22s. Oh, not that long at all. Half an hour. Okay, here we go. Still in this long. Through the anchor now. Can we get up to previous day low? Previous day low. Through that 20,000 and settlement will be 20,035. So that's ultimate target today. That would be gap fill 20,035. All right. 20,000 is really over under. I'm watching ES and SPY closely because they're very near the previous day lows right now. So you might see some sellers coming in here. All right. They might try and sell the SPY and the ES here. Be very careful. Manage your risk. In fact, I'm going to get a little tight here versus anchor view up. We let go of anchor view up. I'm not interested. So just manage this now. See if we can get to PDL. It's very tight, but it's because I don't like what I'm seeing on the ES. So I'm being careful. And we just had a failed breakdown on the VIX as well there. About to take me out here. One more wick down. Oh, kept me in. Thank you very much. Can ES get going up to previous day low? Can the SPY do the same? Can QQQ and NQ get through its 5-day moving average and higher time frame algos? QQQ cannot get through that 5-day moving average right now. VIX is starting to break down here, though. We're not really participating on the long side in the markets while VIX is sort of basing out. I want to see VIX get under 24s. Still looks good. Still building a bull flag here above that anchor view up. You just got like a little RBS here. There's your resistance, breakout. Can we get a continuation up into here? And here would be amazing. I want to be very careful because ES and SPY are both very close to this as well. That green line is your previous day low, and right underneath it, you can barely see it, is the higher time frame algo. So I know it's a big level there into 65. I want to also be careful of any failed auction if we come back under that initial balance. Almost taking me out. There we go. I'm out. All right. Can always reload. We're just managing that trade on the way up from the opening range. ES back to its initial balance high. Now underneath the IB high. These are big levels for the ES. Can it hold these? Do we find bids to go back up here, or are we going to get a failed auction? 5-day moving average and anchor VWAP all in the same space really for NQ. Yeah, I'm the same, Peter. I got knocked out there. I think there's a chance we get up into that red box above, but we didn't sweep anyone yet. Remember, this is this channel up. We haven't swept any of these participants, so it's possible to come under here and sweep them out before we think about anything else. Starting to do that by the looks of it here as well. This is where we found bids from before, so I'd say the next few candles are going to matter. Are we going to go into a failed auction, or are they just going to trap? VIX starting to base out here. It's a little bit awkward here on the VIX. Are we going to do that drift down to 64s that we wanted? 64, 65s. If pops start to fail here versus initial balance, I think we get that move into the VWAP here. I think they go and sweep all these late bulls out if pops start to fail. Right. It's not really getting acceptance there versus that first level. So 9-10 key, that IB key on that last kill candle, 9-13, that wick to wick. If they fail that, they can do the IB rotation back down to VWAP. ES is trying to already do it. Coming right into those levels already now on ES. It's about to sweep everyone out already. VIX not really, NQ not really participating yet. And ES finding bids on those levels. So IB failure or IB auction is key. It will set up in the next, what's the time now? Probably in the next 10 minutes. Look at that. We've got 8 minutes until a new hourly bar. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a move coming very, very soon. VIX also doing the dance here. Do we give that rotation back down to VWAP off the IB? Merrick, yes, it can be, but you have quite the habit of saying things after the fact. Like, it can also be a liquidity trap here. You know, the whole market is a liquidity trap. That's what the market is. It's about identifying it when it happens, not after it happens. Can afford a deeper pullback here to flow zones, deep pullback flow zones, and the VWAP. It all depends how we act here into the initial balance. Remember, ES ES can afford to come down under 40 still. It hasn't done that move under 40. So the question is, do pops fail here versus the initial balance? Do we build out something here for a rotation? Remember, you're early, but you're playing IB if you're playing this. If you're playing this, you're playing IB for this move. This is an IB play, not a trend play. If they just come and sweep these guys out, we go inside the range. Remember, we're still in a huge range, and we're just trading inside it. That last pop to IB was fairly telling there. VIX cannot get through its volume imbalance that it printed at 10.15. I want to see VIX trade up through 24.30s if we're really going to get any follow through to VWAP, which we're not getting. So here's your IB retest again. Market staying heavy here. Amazon about to go green to red. Rest of the market still red here. Microsoft has not recovered. Like it had an attempt, hasn't gone through it yet. That selling anchored VWAP still holding heavy. That red line here off the highs still holding for now. Ultimate target for longs is previous day low and settlement. And this is Globex. That's the target for longs if they can get there. They're not getting it though. Building out a bit of a range here. I'm just waiting. I want to wait and see. We've got a new hour bar coming in 5 minutes. Last hour bar has cleaned up a lot of work. It's 867. Yeah, so if it wants to do a retest of the old hourly high, it can afford to do this on the new hourly bar if it wants to. Totally, Marek. All I'm saying is when you put that in chat, it's important that you understand that it's going both ways. Yeah, so like the whole market, when you understand the whole market is a liquidity trap. Is what the market is. It searches for liquidity and builds liquidity. So we can say that about every single candle all the time. Yeah, every single candle is effectively a liquidity trap. It's either trapping breakout traders or pullback traders. It's just identifying which one it's doing. And you want to be there, you want to identify it early, but wait for it to play out, right? Identifying it early will help you, but then you've got to wait for it to play out. I'm not saying anything bad about what you're doing, but there's so many traders that be like, oh, this is a liquidity trap, and this is everything's a liquidity trap. The whole of yesterday was a liquidity trap. This whole thing was about enticing bulls to come into the market. And this whole move was building liquidity to get trapped up high to use to come lower. That whole move. Yeah, so it's happening all the time. It's literally how the market moves. It will only move on trap participants. It does not move. Like the only time we don't move on trap participants is if there's like a news event. For example, 90-day pause, buy, just market buys, flying into the market where we skip. Otherwise, all we're doing is trapping participants in a market. That's all this game is. It is a game of trapping people in. Still holding flow zones, still can't get through the initial balance. ES doing the same thing right now. We have 2.5 minutes until that new H1 candle. Amazon the only one, and it's barely holding on. I think Amazon got a shot of going green to red here soon if it's not careful. 90 seconds or so, just over, till we get that new H1 bar. Let's see. The H1 bar can afford a back test of 67, point of control right now 41. If H1 wants to back test that and find bids down there, then we're going to go higher on the session. If it can't find a bid down there, rotation is possible. Still stuck at that IB high. We swept some internal liquidity, not all of it. We left those stops in who are down there at 880 right now. They are on the book. I want to wait for this H1, see what this market wants to do once we wait for the H1. Book thinned out above a little bit here. Not many orders here until we get to 950 now. Just some like sort of little guys, 6 lot, 7 lot, 10 lot. Size comes back on at 950. Nothing really notable until there. Once we get through 950, next size is up at 20,000. Here comes the new H1. Let's see what we do here. Not too fussed right now what we do. If we get up to 20,000 and gap fill, I'll see how we act there. If we fail the initial balance, I'll see how we act there. I don't really want to trade in between unless it's very clear and obvious. VIX is still stuck on this little shelf at 2410s. We did sweep some liquidity. I would have preferred to see us sweep everyone out down here before doing this. Back to that anchor again. Yes, trying to get going. Remember, the target, first target here, if it's going to break out this high, will be previous day low. Trying to reclaim that anchor. Finding some sellers up there. There's not much here, though, until 950s. You would kind of expect it just to fill straight up this little void up to 950. Whether it does it or not is another thing, but that's what it's looking to do. ES will need to trade out a new high. Failing to get a new high here up to previous day low will be a problem in terms of liquidity. 984, yeah, it would be fantastic. It's old point of control. Yeah, it'd be amazing if we can trade up there through previous day low. You want to be careful if this H1 breaks out of the old H1 high and turns back inside. All right, if the H1 peaks out above current daily high and then fails, you want to be very, very careful on an H1 bar. Back to anchor here, still on top of the IB. So far, not taking out that old H1 high. Just basing out here for now. You want to be careful of that rotation. I would even if we're going to rotate, you would expect it to take out the H1 high first to trap breakouts in. Yeah, this market the last few days has had a nasty habit of leaving a lot of liquidity both sides on the book. There's no one really here. Okay, there's a little bit of selling coming in, but really the passive sellers are up at 950. So you really expect him to trade up to 950 to see if this guy up here gets filled. We've got an old volume node just above that. Looking good to build that momentum. ES having an attempt here. What's that high on ES? I need to mark that out. 52.75. 52.75 break should take us up to previous day low at 55. If they protect that, it's a problem. It's trying to build this flag out to go. Liquidity still at 50s. It should still be trying to get up through this high 250s right now. If it can't do it, it's going to be a problem. But you would expect it to come and get through the old H1 high in 50s. Even if it's going to fail, so what it would normally want to do is break out of a high, fail back inside on an H1 bar. It's not doing that yet. So anchor's absolutely key. But we are building that inverse head and shoulder kind of look. As long as it's holding initial balance, it's got a chance. If it produces lower high, lower low here, that's a whole different ball game. But right now we're not doing that. So we're observing what we are doing. We're bullish across lower time frames right now. And H1 wants to drive higher by the looks of it. VIX cannot get under 24. It's the one thing I'd say right now. VIX is not willing to get under 24. Microsoft trying to go red to green. Amazon holding on. Apple trying to play catch up, as is Google. The rest are way too far away. Meta, Nvidia, and Tesla way too far away from going red to green right now. Still bidding off that anchor. ES trying to hold its 5-day. This should come and take out the highs. If we don't do it, if it's a 3-drive fail on the ES, you want to be very careful. I'm interested in trying to find a way of getting long. I just can't find what I want right now. Because I think there's a long at least into or above through 38 and 50s, even if it's a little squeeze out. I would rather see a little flush first before we do it. Microsoft green, Amazon now green. Can they sustain a bid? Can Apple join the party here and Google join the party? If we can go red to green on some of the mag, it will help. And just doing the dance around their close levels. So they filled the gap, basically, is what you want to say. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple all near enough have filled their gaps. Market struggling. Can't get to previous day low. It cannot get to previous day low. They keep protecting these. If they go lower high, lower low here, the market will be in problems. VIX starting to find a bid. Cannot break out of those 24s to the low side. Remember, for a good upside squeeze, we want VIX to break down underneath 24. It's not doing that right now. If they can build this inverse shoulder and break out of 38s, we should get right up to 50s and then previous day low. Or join this if it starts to really set here. I want to be careful here. It's taking a bit longer than it should to do it. Yeah, exactly, Phenom. It's a little bit brutal. It's because we are into an area where sellers will want to protect it. Like sellers would be all right to let this come up to. What's this old pivot? 70s, 970s, 968s. So far, they're protecting. Right, if we go lower high, lower low now, it's a problem. But we've just swept. Watching this carefully. If we go big sell here, you've got to be careful if there's failed auction. The problem is like where we're doing the dance right now. You've got to be careful. It's a nice sweep. Do we absorb here or not? It needs to break out now to the upside. If not, then I think buyers will get exhausted. Take care, Kaladin. Watching that initial balance. Obviously, underneath initial balance, you go failed auction. Oh, Trump and Canada's PM Carney bilateral meeting 11:45. Okay, thank you for that. VIX now trying to break down 24s while we're moving downside. So a little bit of divergence there in the tape versus the VIX. No, exactly, Andres. Not a good place right now. The deeper pullback is way, way, way down at 866, and it can afford to wash all those participants out if it wants to. So we're underneath the IB. It just depends how it's going to trap. And VIX finding a bid again. All right. A lot of this is based on the VIX. You can just set price alerts for 24s and 24.30s on the VIX. And once you get a move either side of that, probably get a continuation in this market, one side or the other. All right. So it looks like now it wants to come and take out these participants at 90 and 80s. So sellers protecting early there in front of previous day low. Those anchor view up sellers, think about this as a zone so far, protecting it, failed to get above, failed to build out. It had the chance to do it there, but like I said, you'd be joining near high of day for that move. It's not ideal. I would much rather see them sweep and turn inside to do it, which we're starting to see. If they fail these levels, not interested in any longs at all at that point. Yeah, W for bottoms, M for tops, but really on an H1, you would rather, if you're looking for fails, you would rather that H1 just takes this, gets breakout buyers to come in and then does that. Or at least I would rather that based on an H1. Right? I'd much rather, if I'm looking for fails, I'd much rather an H1 peaks above and fails rather than just trades down to here and builds for that upside. Do they protect the initial balance now, or have they got enough caught there to go back upside? I really don't know. The VIX is not making this clean and obvious. Those last candles are kill candles, but all we've done is just sweep some internal liquidity. Don't trust this for a deeper move down yet. But those of you who want to play initial balance, you could play an IB play here. Technically, we've had a failed auction and a failed attempt higher. I'm just not sure if they're trapping yet. I want to let this build out a bit more before I get involved. Okay, we didn't take out that H1 high. For me, that's kind of telling. This candle here would be key. If they don't make a lower low, then I think they might get shorts trapped. They need to come in here and absolutely slam this back down. And if they don't, then that might have been an internal sweep to go back upside. Like I said, I'd rather trade downside after an H1 sweeps the highs. But yesterday was the same. Last week, numerous times the same. Yeah, lots of spoofing, Willa. Yeah, it's the same on NQ right now. We've got 120 lot sell order just coming on the book at 9:30, and I don't think he's legit because he's also stacking up multiple buy orders, and they keep flashing and leaving at the same time. So lots of games again. A bit like yesterday, we talked about MM's having a little bit of fun building the liquidity. We're inside range, like we said. The low-hanging fruit trades have gone. We're inside range. We can't expect this to be like nice, smooth trend. We will need to trap participants in this market to get the rotational moves that they want to do. I don't know what those rotational moves are after we have the low-hanging fruit taken. It can do what it wants. If this wants to build to expand up for a back test of, I don't know, that was that pivot low there, 19,971, point of control 85s, maybe all the way into Globex, amazing. But they will need to trap shorts if they're going to do that move. They're not going to move up just off bulls buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. You will need to see Microsoft, Amazon, Google all go green. Ideally, you'd want to see Apple participate as well. They're trying to do it now. They're trying to do that move now if they've caught enough. Again, they can still make a lower high here. But if we start to break out now through 30s and 40s, 37s, then you're going to get a bigger move up because you've got a lot of participants now in the market short side. All we're doing right now is building this out. If we rotate and we get stuck here, I'll think about a short. If we come down and flush and reclaim, I'll think about a long. What I don't want to do is get trapped in that. Do I think short trap has occurred around 19,890? Around here, yeah, like maybe, but really you'd want it under here. Yeah, and a quick reclaim, not really just on the internals. And we're just at point of control. Like point of control shifted up to here now. So all the biggest volume on the day, unsurprisingly, because we've gone sideways up here, is up here. Remember, we're trapped right now. We're trapped between. Here's your VWAPs. Here's your VWAP off the sell. Here's ultimate target and PDC above it. Bulls had their fun from here. Remember, low-hanging fruit. Sells had their fun from here. This now has to build while they decide, are they doing this or are they doing this? Still holding that IB. We've just slowed right down. Volume slowed right down here as well. I think we can afford to just wait here. 45 minutes till we're done. If they sell this back down, there's a stop run here underneath 880 down towards that opening range. And if they get a deeper rotation underneath the opening range, and we go all the way back down towards the low of day where we found bids this morning. It is a battle. Market all red now. Mag all gone red. Microsoft, Amazon are close. They're not too far away from their closing prices. Google and Apple are the next ones. But the rest of them, Meta, Nvidia, and Tesla, too far away, all over 1%. Tesla 2% away. Look at the M5 and M15, just kind of ugly up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last 4 M15 candles are gross. It's trying to hold a pivot up here to get higher, but it's ugly. Amazon and Microsoft trying to go green here. They're desperate to get green. Back to the anchor. Still just building out that range here. You can afford to wait. You don't need to force your way into here. We're just hanging around the initial balance. We're hanging around the anchor. It's built a ton of liquidity here. If it's going to get going, it's going to become clear and obvious. It's trying to squeeze up. It wants to take out that H1 high like I talked about earlier. But the fact that we haven't done it is iffy to me. And hanging around point of control is not an area I want to execute in. Yeah, they'll come again though, CC, because we've got 4 days inside. We will break out of that range soon. It's just how the market goes, right? Once we've had range for long enough, we've built liquidity, then we get a big, nice breakout, and then you get a trend continuation. So it will come probably after FOMC. You're going to get it. Amazon, Microsoft green again. Are we going to get that H1 high sweep? Are we going to get the H1 high sweep? And if we do get through 38s, can we get up towards previous day low? Tight little range up here. You would expect if they let it through, it could be potentially be violent. The 930s there on the sell. Yeah, the 100 lot. He just pulled it again. Like I said, I didn't think he was real. Said that earlier in the day because the bids were stacking up the same size. So he was just pulling each side over and over and over again. No worries, Leron. Take care, mate. All right, here it goes. It's trying to get up to that H1 high that we talked about. Tapping right up and into it, not too far away. $950's been on the book now for about an hour. About an hour now. And we've been up here about an hour now. Can we get going? It was your order. You're the one flashing the size. Well, can you flash it up higher then, please, with some more size and make the market go for you? All right, here it goes. It's trying again for a breakout here. It really wants to go. Keep struggling in front of these guys. This guy needs to get out of the way, and we go 950s. They can't get through it, and there's no size here. It's a guy flashing. It's not even legit. Someone front selling into it. Yeah, exactly. Just pop it up into 950, please. Did ES break there? It got close. Not quite. A point away. Another failed breakout on ES there as well. 3 drives up here as well. I want to be cautious. If they don't get the breakout, remember, if they don't get the continuation higher, that's where bulls will get trapped. They need to get the continuation higher. Look at the VIX. It is about as ugly as you get on a 5-minute chart as well. It is not letting go of 24s, and it cannot get through 2430s. Come on, market. Let's go. Let's go now. That last pullback was enough. Let's go. Let's go. Just go straight through 30s. Stop doing this. I don't even see anyone refreshing the book here. We should just go straight up now. No one refreshing on the book. Get up to 50s. Get through these 30s and get up to 50s. $57 lot there at 30. Is that right? That's the first refresher. 55s. They're looking to take him out. Pop through that. We should take out high of day and go straight up to 50s. Liquidity's at 50s. If he keeps refreshing though, 55s, 55s. He's on the book at 30s. 55 lot, 55 lot, 55 lot. How have you not got the ability to take out 55 lots at 30s is unbelievable. There are no bids down. There we go. Thank you. All right. Took long enough, didn't it? All right, let's get this higher day break now. All right, moving stop up. Joined in this. Can we get up to previous day low? God, they made that hard. Okay, looking to hold this all the way up to previous day low if we can get there. Watching 50s. There is 100 lot on the book at 50s. Want to see if he's legit or he pulls here as we trade into him. By the way, ES has just tapped previous day low, so it might be worth paying yourself a little bit of money here, folks. In case we get a rotation on the ES. I think we've got a chance here. If not, if we get through 50s, we're going to go up to 65s here on the Qs. If we get through 65s, we're watching that 20,000 range, and a Globex high will be 20,035. We took long enough there. Geez Louise, this took long enough to build out, didn't it? That sweep there, what was that last pull? That one I liked. Once we did that, I liked it. We got over, under. Let's go off to the races. How high can we go now? So this 100 lot still on the book here at 950. Remember, ES just hit low hanging fruit of previous day low. Just remember that. Make sure you're paying yourself. I'm going to get a quick refill on the coffee. Let's just make sure this is protective. There we go. All right, be right back. All right. Okay, low hanging fruit taken on the ES. Back testing 24s now on the VIX. VIX needs to stay heavy versus 24s for a potential gap fill down to 2360s. Reclaiming 24s is kind of ugly if it does that, or 2420s. What's the underside of that little shelf we made? 2410s, 2407. So it can give it a bit of room. We've gone back into a very slow, grinding, boring environment, haven't we? Why is that? Internal range. Inside bars. Look at the dailies. Inside bars. Looking good here. ES has got to get through previous day low. We go through that, we can get to previous day low on the Qs. Amazon green, Apple green, Microsoft not green yet, Google not green yet. They've all closed their gaps though. Just be careful here. You should be managing your positions. You should have paid yourself some money. Make sure you have paid yourself some money. Now we've swept that high on the H1. If it wants to rotate, it can. That's the one thing I'm now aware of. This is the one move we got up to over that high on the H1. It can expand up to 65s and above if it wants, but if it wants to rotate, it can rotate. Test old point of control, break down under 88, we go down to 66. So we're bullish for now until it proves otherwise. A big level here on the ES previous day low. We're already there, remember. Amazon finding a bit of strength here. Can the rest of the market join in, though? That's the question. Apple can't so far. Google's trying. Microsoft's trying. And we've got a press conference in 15 minutes, is it? I think that's what you lot said. Almost at 100 likes. Let's get this up to 100 likes, please, folks. Some nice trades today. Still holding that anchored view up and flow zones above initial balance. All the time we're above IB, we're thinking about long continuation. Still looks good. Still holding. Still looks good. It's desperately trying to get up to previous day low. Another breakout attempt here. Remember, liquidity is at 50s. There is a seller on the book at 50s. That's where he is. That's where it wants to try and get to. It wants to try and fill him. If we can get through that, has the potential to go higher. If we can't get through that, then, well, it's going to be a problem. ES cannot get going through its previous day low. That's the probably key pivot on ES right now. So remember, low-hanging fruit was previous day low. We took it on ES. We tapped into it. We've back-tested it. We are not getting a base above it yet. We've not done that move yet on the NQ. So we've got slight divergence there. NQ needs to trade up to 66 to do that move, which would mean getting through this seller. Right, there's a 50 lot now at 45, or a 46 lot at 45s, and then a 100 lot at 50s. So watching 45s and 50s here. Need a flag break here on the ES to help us really on a 5 minute. So here we go, driving up towards the 45s. Can we get through 45s and then 50s? And if we get through that, can we get to 65s? Is the 45s? No, is the answer. Tapped into those sellers and got hit. And they've just refreshed as well. All right, so that's a refresh seller. What am I meaning by refresh seller? We filled him some. He added the same size back on. So there is a legit seller up there just reloading sells, reloading sells, reloading sells. So you have to pay attention to that. Now he's pulled. Now there's just a 59 lot left at 50. All right, so either we do the same thing we did earlier in a dance to try and trap to get back up, or we start seeing rotation underneath initial balance. So all the time we're above those levels, above RBS levels, there's potential to squeeze higher, which is what I'm trying to just obey. Really, I'm not really thinking about shorts until we get under these levels convincingly. ES definitely struggle at that PDL. Can ES reach PDO? Where's PDO on ES? Let me have a look. No, not today, I don't think. 705s. You're asking quite a lot there, Andres. If something if there's a news piece that comes out, if there's a narrative change, yes. But right now, I'd say that a 50-point drive higher seems fairly unlikely on the ES. VIX finding a bid back testing that 2406 to 2410 we talked about. If VIX gets through that, we might go a bit more risk off here in the market. Definitely sellers here. I'd say 30 is now key. $10. I don't see Previous day open being 10 points away on ES. 705 was the open on a daily candle. Okay, they're having another attempt here. Same seller still there. Smaller size now, 950s. They've had numerous attempts up here though. Yes, trying for that. Sorry, Andres. I don't have the same as you. Sorry. Look at a daily chart. It's not just not what I have. I don't know why, but unless you're marking out like the New York Open or something rather than the daily open. Okay, ES back into previous day low again. Can it get acceptance above here? 950 still on the tape. We're still holding a bullish move above the initial balance right now. Through 40s, we're trying. It's trying to get to 50s. ES absolutely key into previous day low. So far today, we have failed to break to previous day low on the NQ. Previous day low again getting tapped here on the ES. So I imagine there's a refresh seller here. Here was finally getting through now. Now can we get going? Are we going to get through 50s here? Here's the bigger seller at 50s. If we get through that, we've got a chance to move to previous day low, which will be 66s. If we get through that, potentially thinking about a gap fill. Potentially thinking about a gap fill. So I'd say next stop 66s, then 20,000, then 20,035, then 20,055 will be gap fill. Yeah, unless I've gone absolutely mental, Andres. So I'm just going to have a look for you. All right, previous day opens here. 705s. That's previous day open. That's previous day close. That's the gap fill is up into here. So I'm not sure what you're looking at. All right. So cleared out that seller at 50, a bit more selling into 60s, 65, 70s. They're starting to stack up now. So low hanging fruit is the green line above you, Thursday point of control, and then the orange box above is Globex, and then through that is the full gap fill closure. Got to pay yourself along the way here. If you're buying the dips and playing the squeezes out, you have to pay yourself along the way here. It's not like we're in a major trend. We are in inside range. And the other thing we have to think about, at some point, even from the close, if we go from settlement, we're into golden zone. If we go from previous day high, we're coming up to a 50% retrace. All right, so the location for the buys is getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Aha, so you're talking about the open, CME open. Okay, so 8:30 open, not even the New York open. Yeah, then if potentially, yeah. My eyes are starting to get tired now. Oh, I think I'm done with this session. How long we got left? 23 minutes left. Any questions before I log off, team? As a reminder, those of you who've just turned up today, it's your first time. If you're interested in trading with me, if you like how I teach, you can grab right now the beginner to advanced course, 20 hours, 40 modules, plus Discord for life, plus the trading view indicators for the flow zones, which you would have seen me trading with this morning. All of that for a one-time fee of $649. Those of you who want the system indicator, the trading view, the Ninja Trader system indicator flow zones, 1 year license $299 or lifetime $499. Very powerful, way more powerful than the one in TradingView. Does absolutely everything for you. Plots out all your daily levels, all your weekly levels, all your higher time frame levels, your opening range, your initial balance, your flow zones. Everything's done. Makes it nice and easy. Your Globex. And if you want both of those together, you can save $150. Get it in a bundle right now for $999. Link is underneath in the description for those of you who are interested. Those of you who like trading prop firms, there are still some sales going on right now. All right, TraderFi sale ends on May 15th. So you have 9 days left for that. 40% off for new customers, 30% off for all the other accounts. You can use code FZT. The link is in the description. You can have up to 5 accounts there. My advice, the growth accounts are the easiest one to pass and the easiest ones to manage. If you've already proven yourself, what about the ones that TraderVate offers package? This is TraderVate. They only use TraderVate for flow zone. For TraderFi, sorry. Can't even think. Apex still on sale, 80% off, $50 discount. You can trade up to 20 of those, code FCT. And if you like Take Profit Trader, okay, the best thing about Take Profit Trader is you can pay yourself daily. Okay, code for that is flow zone. I see what you're saying, Max. I don't have a TraderVate indicator. They, as you've probably seen, the indicators on TraderVate are very ugly. I'll have a look. Don, Alex, I'm collecting to buy the course. I've got one question. Do you teach the entry, stop placement, and taking profits? Yeah, everything's in there, Don. Absolutely everything's in there. So low-hanging fruit's taken on ES, not quite taken on the NQ, but we're not far away. I'm not going to keep adding into this. I've had my attempts at it, locked in. The best money today I made was on the short, and then that first move up long. Since then, this has just been grindy, hasn't it? About a 60-point range, grinding up. Yeah, Max. Yeah, I'm working on a pro version of this, which will do all the levels for you. So I've got someone working on it at the moment. It's taking a bit longer than I anticipated. I wonder if he's away. Yeah, that's the right thing to do, Phenom. Roll your profits into stuff rather than investing too much. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Miguel. Waiting to see what he says. My eyes are hurting. I need a new set of glasses. My dog, unfortunately, sat on my old set of glasses and snapped them in half, and I am due an eye test. So yeah, but gold's been amazing. And a nice trader, 2.5% up today. 82 points. All right, ES coming all the way back down to that initial balance. Just be careful here, folks. You might not get that move to close the gap. If ES keeps rejecting PDL and we get underneath initial balance, you can get a rotation. The pivot will be here. They can come and wash these fellas out. And if they get stuck here, you produce a lower high, you back test some of these areas, right? These are what you're looking at later in the day. Otherwise, this will be the trap kind of move, which it hasn't really done all day. It's left all these lot in just about. We're just in a grind right now. If it comes in with a big sell and they reject this, a rotation can happen. Especially now that H1 took that H1 high, like I said. So this H1 candle is likely to close inside. Right? Think about this H1 candle, where's 11 o'clock here. We've drifted higher. We're going to leave a wick high. If it closed inside to here, I would not be surprised at all. And yeah, as Miguel said, you've got this press conference with Trump and Canada coming in 2 minutes, apparently. Richard saying he's currently doing the course and it's awesome. 50% completed. Lovely work. Go for Hill, no worries. Did you get the indicator all set up, mate? Is it working okay now? Nice, Max. Nice work. All right, back to IB. This right here. Yeah, when you do the course. They're for students. It's private only. So back underneath initial balance here. This is a stronger candle, especially on a 5-minute and 15-minute. We're going back towards the bottom side of range on a 15-minute here. And Trump about to talk. Right back to point of control. Think about that old H1 like I talked about. Once we take that high, if it turns back inside, these are the kind of moves that can happen. Trumpy boy, no doubt, is talking. Market going to thin out and do some absolute wild moves, no doubt about it. So stuck underneath initial balance now. You've got those stops to aim for. If Trump says something wild, it will probably aim for those stops. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Go for Hill. Awesome, awesome. Nice, Max. He's just posting some fairly aggressive stuff right now about Canada and Gavin Newsom. I'm not a Gavin Newsom fan, so I don't really care about that. But all right, rejection, maybe bear flag down here if they're going to do it into those lows for that stop hunt. Again, be very, very careful. If he starts talking, all sorts can happen, as you well know. Just take your time, go for Hill. Smaller size will help you. Always help. Smaller size. We're trading right back into point of control on the day now. It can afford a drift back to 60s and even 40s and 50s if it wants. If it wants. So 13 minutes left. I'm flat on the day, folks. Made my money. Not looking to trade this here. If they're going to do a wash, then they're going to have to fail up here, 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 here to here. From that point, you'd be covering. And if they catch a bid, they go upside. If they fail to catch a bid, they're going to use this liquidity for a rotation back down. Those are the options for the afternoon session. Take care, go for Hill. I'm the same. I'm absolutely done for the day. Again, I always feel better about the short. And I know we've done the H1 move, but you know, when you look at this, you think you're that close to previous day low. Why didn't you just check it? Oh, I just got OBS disconnected. Can you guys hear me? Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, I had a disconnection alert come up then. Nice. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so back over IB. Does it create a bear flag here to go lower, or was this internal sweep enough and they're going to go back for this? I don't know. The time of day is not ideal to be executing right now. We're sitting right at point of control into lunch when Trump, I think he's now talking. I haven't seen anything come out yet other than tweets that he's posting. Yeah, not seen anything else. So Apple now green, Amazon now green, Microsoft trying to go red to green, Google not too far away. Again, like I said before, Meta, Nvidia, Tesla nowhere near. I doubt they have the ability to do it. It's stuck at flow zones and that anchor VWAP, that old pivot into 22 so far holding us down just here on that last one. So if they create a bear flag, they will need a lower low here, and the lower low break of this should take us down into these. If they trap and reclaim here, and they squeeze back up towards the previous day low. That's the battle right now. We've had the low hanging fruit. Ask yourself, is there a trade you really need to take right now? We are just into the bottom side of a range. You can see it on an M15. We're trying to base over this candle from like 7:15 a.m. in the morning. Trying to base over this right now. That's what market's trying to do. Back down to IB. It's trying to build that bear flag. It's just you've got multiple time frames battling it out here. If they're going to snap, they're going to need a lower low. If they don't produce a lower low, where we had all these wicks here, then you've got to think sellers get trapped trying to force the rotation. This is what I mean. It's very, very hard to trade this right now while they make their minds up. If they're going to let go of it, though, there is a lower low, lower high bear flag scenario versus IB for that rotation. VIX trying to get going. 24.23s. What do we say? I think it was 30s. Yeah, 24.30 is going to be key on the VIX. So back down to where we've just found a bid from. They're starting to break under this now. Do they get that rotation back down to VWAP? There's the stop, first lot of stops. Next lot of stops are into 86s. So bear flag starting to play out here. But again, bottom side of the range. This is where all the stops are. So if you're in this short, you're aiming for some of these guys here. If you're in this, off this sell, you're aiming to take partials into these, this, and this, definitely into this. Trump saying the same thing. Let's have a look. I'm still not seeing anything yet. Selling continuation here. Looks kind of thin other than that 20,000. There's a 105 lot of 20,000. You've got 7 minutes till lunch here, folks. You haven't got long. Be careful. Be careful. VIX at 24.26. Remember, 24.30. Reclaim a 24.30, and a shove upside on the VIX. We get downside pressure in the market. Do we get a break structure down to VWAP here? This is the question I would have right now. Just trying joining this. Oh, beautiful. Move my stop, you bastard. Oh, God. Move locking in more there. Right, here we go. Moving my stop down. Do we get a deeper wash here? Oh, lovely. Can we get down into those VWAPs? We just swept quite a lot of liquidity there. So taking more out there. Next level I want to trade into if we're going to go is 81s. But we just swept all these guys out. So looking to see if we break these guys. Then I'm going to respect what? I'm going to respect lower time frame algo, VWAP, and anchor VWAP. And these are the areas where buyers might want to step in. So I've already instantly got into that and took money off the table. A very quick trade as we start to break down. In versus this back test of that. Quick wash. See if we stay heavy here or not for a runner. ES did sweep absolutely everyone out there, folks. So just be careful here. ES has done the damage there already. Now, ES, if it wants to come and back test, it can come down to 33s. But it just swept out all the bulls in this top side of the range. We've been in this range since 10:30 this morning, even before that. So ES has done the damage. If ES starts trying to find a bid here, you do not want to sit in this short any longer in the queues. But as long as ES stays heavy, he's got ability to rotate. Look at the VIX. So much easier once it starts playing bull. VIX straight through 24.30s. So watching the initial balance here, watching the flow zones here. Any reclaim of that, not really interested in looking for any continuation. We're into lunch, really. Got 4 minutes left. Like I said, H1 is at a big level now. If it lets go of this, it's got the ability to trade down to 60s. If it lets go of that, 50s. Why? Just because of the old H1 candle. All right, this H1 bar, what did I say it would do? Sweep this H1 bar, leave a wick high, can afford to put a body in down here if it wants, into here. That's what it's starting to try and do. We talked about that, I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes ago, maybe longer. Yes, looking a little heavy here. It's very testy here into 40. Buyers on the tape here, 875 on the market for us. Oh, I'm completely offline, am I? Fantastic. Oh, my Apex connection's gone. And we're back. There we go. Obviously some internet issues. The chart is cooking people in Africa. My chart seems to be ahead of you. I can assure you my chart's the same as anyone else's chart. So you need to be careful of a reclaim of here. You're heavy until that. A reclaim of this can get you up here. But all the time you're heavy versus this, you're looking for a continuation down into these levels. I'd be risk off here because this is where I'd expect some buyers to try and step in. We get under that, you get a deeper rotation. If we get over this, you get a squeeze. See money, take money environment because we're in internal range. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days we've spent in this range that we're currently in with a failed breakout of the low. I'm done for the day for sure after this. Easy trades have been and gone. Unless he says something mental that changes the market, I really don't think we could have had any easier trades. So ES holding its deep pullback flow zones in front of its lower time frame algo. How we act here into initial balance across these markets will be important. If it starts to reclaim and build out that inverse right shoulder, a squeeze potential is there. What's he saying? Stock market was sick, but now it's okay. Really? Biggest gain in stock market history, he says. After the biggest loss. What a twat. US private credit defaults remain elevated. It's so hilarious, isn't it? And it's the biggest rebound in history, but I'm going to ignore that we're still down on the year. The wins are mine, the losses are yours. All right, rejecting initial balance there. Breaking down here. It looks like it's trying to attack those lows. It's trying to get back to VWAP. ES at like quite a key level here. It is funny. It is funny. You can call it the greatest stock market in history when we do a 14% run above all-time highs, mate. Not before that. Not on a rebound after selling off for 3 months. That goes for anyone. It's like being 10-0 down playing football and scoring a hat trick and being like, I'm the greatest player of all time. Well, you just lost. You still lost. All right. Still protecting initial balance, still protecting that low. This is still building out here. I'm done for the day, folks. We're into lunch now. I'm definitely calling it a day here. I don't want to trade the old Trump candles. We know what happens with the old Trump candles. We go still, 300-point ripper. I don't want to be getting involved in any of that. All right, I'm not interested in trading that. Too risky for my appetite. I like nice, smooth action, which is so far today really what we've had. It's been pretty good. I'll be back tomorrow, folks. Same time as always, 9:15 pre-market. And we'll go again. Same thing again. Let's see what we get tomorrow. I won't... Sorry, just a piece of my computer falling off there. I'll trade tomorrow morning with you. I won't live stream FOMC. I'm not really interested in trading FOMC unless it seems very, very clear and obvious. It doesn't seem like they're going to do a rate cut. If they do a rate cut, we're probably bullish. But I don't think they'll do a cut. I don't think, Powell will roll over to pressures of Trump. Yeah, exactly, Brandon. And we'll go tomorrow, right? Same thing over and over again. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Once we get out of this range, we can think about what's next. And let's hope we get out of this range on FOMC. It'd be nice. Set up a decent move. Remember, big news coming Thursday as well. Yeah, lovely work, everyone. Today's a good lesson. And the range hasn't been huge today, but probably about 220 points or something. But today was much easier than yesterday's slow grind up followed by a dump. All right. So just try and learn your lessons from yesterday and understand, like, why was I not bothered about yesterday? Why was I waiting for the short? Okay, I missed it. So what? Come to the chart the next day, better setups, calmer mind. We go again. Same thing every single day. All right. We trade what's in front of us. We can only trade what's in front of us. All right, folks. Peace and love. I will be back tomorrow morning. Be kind to each other. All the usual stuff. Be kind to yourself. Use hard stops, especially in this market. If he gets talking, you're the wrong side of it. You're going to be very upset. All right. Take care.